Welcome to the replay. Welcome. Yo girl, welcome. If you're on the replay or coming in live, my name is Pensive. I live at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay in Hampton, Virginia. I usually do a nice little beach scene once in a while. But today I've taken the challenge of scope your books. Jason, hey, taking up the challenge of scoping your books. So I thought I might start with the original way that I did learn how to, namaste, Greg, Chris. Let me just go ahead and wait a few minutes. Let you people come in here. Hey, Jason. Glad to see you here. I'm glad it's working today, Greg. Yesterday was a tragic accident. Hey, it really did look trippy once I saw the... Oh yeah, that's the first 3 of the graphic novels. What happened? You'd have to go look at it. Man, it is strange. No voice for a while. Rosie was on here. Ask her. Okay, I guess I'm going to go ahead and start. Afternoon. What's that? Arctura. Okay, well, here's some art in front of you. How do you make a pensive mind? Oh yeah. Yeah, everything you see today is going to be mine. And people say, how do you know that? Well, I read a lot. Since I retired 2 years ago, that's all I've done is investigate and read. But how I got started. When I was 6 years old in 1960, I learned how to read with comics, just about like every other kid at the time did. I read Hulk #1, Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man in Amazing Stories. And then I fell in on science fiction. And when I fell in on science fiction, I fell hard. I did Asimov, Bradbury, Heinlein, Blish, just Philip K. Dick. That's a good story, by the way. Anybody know what they made out of that? Do androids dream of electric sheep? Otherwise now known as Blade Runner. Now, Star Trek came on. And when Star Trek came on, I listened to every word. Yes, I have watched Interstellar. It's a great movie. And scientifically correct, too. This is a beautiful book that I have. It's my coffee table book. It's called The Science Fiction of the 20th Century. It covers most of my favorite authors, anyway. So this is where I decided that I needed to find out about the future. How do you learn what's going to happen next? What is going to happen next and why? Of course, it took some planning because you have to sometimes buy things in 2 forms. This is an audiobook, and that's the real book. And over here are my boxed set of cassettes of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. This one is produced by The Mind's Eye, and this one was done by National Public Radio. What kind of books were which? Yes, all of them, Chris. Every one of them. And they're on here. Every one of the Wheel of Time is on there. On the table. Well, that's a coffee table book. Beautiful. The Puppet Masters. Okay. Galaxy I used to read all the time. Oh yeah. Any books. Anything by Asimov. His Foundation series used to be a trilogy, but now it's a series. Is great. And the 3 Laws of Robotics. Who else? Used to love Bradbury, but he's gotten a little bit soft for me now. William Gibson, Necromancer. He invented the term cyberspace, and this is the book that he created that term in. It's called Neuromancer. It's great. And do I have any suggestions? Let's see. Let's see if I can get that. This is my Audible account. And you can see right there is Douglas Adams. Definitely. Anybody who reads should read Douglas Adams. And we can go down. I got some Baldacci. If you want to see Why I Want to Be a Starship, that's your man. Ian M. Banks. Remember that name? And the Culture series. It's called the Culture series. What's the matter, Chris? Am I losing you? Ian M. Banks tells about what happens next. There's also another one that is one of them is called Woken Furies, but I'm not sure of the other two. There's two more in this series. Oh yeah, Douglas Adams. If you want to see what the future lies in economics, there's one. Radical Abundance. Because, of course, whose way do we want to follow? The Steve Jobs way. Oh yeah, I have 600 audiobooks collected. And one of my favorites, of course, is this one. Stranger in a Strange Land. Do you grok? Thou art God. Really went through a couple of stages with that. About finding my own personal brand of religion. And I read that one as a goof. Dianetics, which is of course Scientology. Some funny items in here. Another futurist, Michio Kaku, Professor Kaku, and that's the future of the mind, where he actually breaks intelligence up into little pieces. It says that some animals have some intelligence, we have other intelligences, even a light switch has an intelligence. The reason these are all grayed out is because, as you see the little downloads on them, they are ready for download. I can have any one of them on any one of my iOS devices within 5 minutes. God, I'm shaky. Excuse me. I need to do this for a second. See if I can study that. Yeah, I am really old. Ironsmith. I'm 61, son. And I retired a year and a half ago, and I've been doing nothing but reading. One of my heroes in today, not Kuntz. Kuntz is all right, but go down here. Go over, down. Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil is who founded the term singularity. Singularity is when you cannot tell whether who you're talking to is a human, or an AI, or a mixture of both. He also did How to Create a Mind, which breaks down the brain into pattern recognizers and how they work together using scientific principles. And yes, even a little C.S. Lewis in here. That is pretty cool, because C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity says that still small voice that you hear when you ask yourself a question is God, which is pretty close to what I think. There's your Game of Thrones. I've got a couple of those. I'd stopped reading them when the television series really went off. Larry Niven in Ringworld. Those are great. Great books. Frederick Pohl, The Annals, Gateway. Just remember Gateway with Frederick Pohl. What happens if you come across an asteroid and it's hollowed out and inside there's ships? The ships, you can't figure out where they go or why, but when you hit the button, you go. And sometimes you come back. And sometimes you come back with treasures. Here we go. Here's for the people who are out trying to monetize. It's not going to work anymore because of this. The zero marginal cost. When the robots are making everything, the next one to be made costs nothing. And when it costs nothing, how are you going to charge for it? If you just want to visit a good bar, go to Spider Robinson's Callahan's. It's a bar where everything happens. It's great. Just a fun place. Fun place to visit. Where am I going here now? Kurt Vonnegut. Oh, Lord, I love me some Kurt Vonnegut. If you haven't read Slaughterhouse-Five, do. The Sirens of Titan that he did was great. Want a politician to read? There she is. Elizabeth Warren. She is just fantastic about how she is fighting for our rights. Of course, I do some biographies. I not only got Gene Wilder's biography, but I got his wife's, Gilda's, also. They're great. Okay, that's all there is on this page for right now. But I'll show you. Had to stretch these out a little bit. Come on, let's exit this thing. Oh, that's where we all come from, guys. That's a supernova. And we are all made of supernova. This is the same library you saw right there, just stretched out in groups of 20. Alphabetical, by author, of course. Robert Heinlein. If you haven't read The Path Through Tomorrow, do. It's great. It's also called the Notebooks of Lazarus Long. It's about what happens if you start breeding people for longevity. Say, you can get married to anybody you want, but if you marry this person whose parents are long-lived, we'll support you. And for every kid you have, because you're long-lived, we'll help support them too. And it works. People start living longer. You can see I've got a few pages of these. Like I said, my library on Audible, which have been on for a few years at about $200 a year, has 33 pages of 20. So that's 660 books in there. Victor Vinervinge. Vinervinge. He's good. He's also a scientist who writes. The Preston Child, the Douglas and Preston Child are murder mysteries. Such. Hi, Alicia. You've been missing a lot already. And everybody who is anybody has seen these two movies, I'm sure. If you haven't seen The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, you should watch it. It is great. It's just funny. And look, there's a Lithgow in it. Oh, you've missed a lot, Alicia. I've been going through some of my books, and everybody's seen that, of course. How about these guys? These guys. And then, let's see how come I have pensive politics. Well, you've already seen on my other parts that I do read about economics. But these are some of my funniest guys, my funniest people on earth. You can see Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert. I am America, and so can you. I was at the rally in D.C. with 250,000 of my favorite friends. That's the one I was at, even though it was still there. It was just great. You were there too? Cool. Little cartoon album there by, and of course our favorite curmudgeon, or hate in the new book, in the new movie. Hi Greg, I thought you were here already. Little comedy on the side. Let's see, where haven't I gone yet? Here's two of my favorites. Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. And in a companion book, The Universe in a Nutshell. Yes, I did read the history of the world. Long, long time ago. Cat rules. What do they do? And when I'm going outside to look around, I've got the Birds of Virginia Field Guide. And The Cult of Mac, which is a nice picture book for Mac lovers. So, I guess my full philosophy came about, I was raised a Presbyterian in North Carolina, which means you went to church every week and you believed in predestination. Well, predestination didn't really strike me as being the way the universe worked. And then I read Atlas Shrugged, and that really just blew me off, by Ayn Rand. Not really. I know a bit. I know a little bit about a lot. And Ayn Rand really blew away my religious base. And it took me a long, long time to get it back, to find out where I feel we belong in the universe. And what really helped me was two books. One of them I've already mentioned, which was Stranger in a Strange Land, where Thou Art God comes in. It says we all, and Mere Christianity also, which said that everybody, when you talk to that still small voice in your head, you're really talking to God. There's Stranger in a Strange Land.
This is Audible.
Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein. This book is read by Christopher Hurt.
If you've not heard that,
The following material appears on the book's dust jacket.
Read it, find it, read it.
Name, Valentine Michael Smith. Ancestry, human. Origin, Mars. Here is Heinlein's masterpiece, the brilliant, spectacular, and incredibly popular novel that grew from a cult favorite to a bestseller to a classic in a few short years. It is the story of Valentine Michael Smith, the man from Mars who taught humankind grokking and water sharing, and love.
Let me stop that.
Notice, all men, gods, and planets in this story are imaginary. Any coincidence of names is regretted. R.A.H.
Robert A. Heinlein. Robert A. Heinlein had a strange philosophy, but it was good. It really was. He was a pure hedonist, for sure. But he said, you're a god, so be hedonistic. It's fine. And then came Mr. Watts, Alan Watts. If you haven't investigated Alan Watts, he will teach you how to meditate. He'll teach you why the Buddhists make you go through hoops.
Like Brahman, like Tao. But in the West, the word God has got so many funny associations attached to it that most of us are bored with it.
And his voice is just
God
great.
the Father Almighty, most people feel funny inside. But according to Buddhist philosophy, all this universe is one tathata. That means 10,000 functions or 10,000 things, one suchness. And we're all one suchness. And that means that suchness comes and goes like everything else, because this whole world is an on and off system. As the Chinese say, it's the yang and the yin. And therefore it consists...
Yes, well, I won't get you into that because we're taking up too much time. But anyway, my philosophy came from that. And if you like Dilbert, if you like the Dilbert cartoons, his daddy is named not Douglas Adams, but, oh shoot. Oh, I've lost it. But anyway, he did what is called a thought experiment, and it's called God's Debris, GOD'S, and you can pick it up on PDF. You can just search it and pick it up on PDF, read it. It will blow your mind. It starts out with a UPS driver who brings a package to an old man. And the first question from the old man is, did you bring the package, or did the package bring you? So, now you've understood a little bit of why I'm as crazy as I am, and why I like to go in and troll people for fun. No, I haven't seen her yet. I really haven't. But I can see it coming. If you look on my Facebook page, you'll see that there's a new company out that is putting out just a band that goes on your arm like this with a projector right at the band that shoots out your screen onto your skin, and when you touch it you can do whatever. Oh, another one. What the bleep do we know? You want to learn about quantum mechanics in a funny way? There you go. It's great. Of course, it is pseudoscience a little bit. Yes, the double slit experiment. Dr. Quantum. Dr. Quantum is just cool. When he does flatland and yanks the circle out of the second dimension, I think that's what really happens when we die, is we just jump out of this dimension and back to where we belong. Yeah, it is pseudoscience, Greg. It really is. But it makes some good points, and it does some good illustrations. Okay, guys. Should I take questions? Let me see if I can do this. See where I can read. It's kind of hard for me to read on the screen. So let me go on into my own little periscope. No one I'm following is live. Oh no! Oh, wrong one. Let's not do that. Oh, let's mute this sucker too. That makes for weird scopes if you don't have them muted when you've got it on. Okay. Now let's see if we can get some questions here. Whoa. Let's jump back. Let's get some trippiness going. Okay. Questions. Answers. What is my name? Pensive, Greg. I told you that. You have to look on my Facebook page. It's actually Tony, but there's too many Tonys. Oh, I thought you were saying the Dorset dye experiment, which is also a good science fiction group. Yeah, like I said, there are too many Tonys already. So, shoot, I want to set this thing down. Gotta set the phone down, guys. You Chat among yourselves. What's that look like? Ooh. What's on my to-read list? Right now I'm reading a lot of Ian Banks. Let me put that back up for you. Ian Banks is a real futurist. He talks about downloading your mind and Banks comes out to beer. And doing trippy things. It's like I said, after reading Ian Banks, you'll want to be a starship. And he'll teach you how to do it. Goes into cortical stacks and moving them around. Michio Kaku, if you want to read some nice stuff, that's good too. And of course, one of our all-time favorite movies and books. Who hasn't seen that? Any good bios? Yeah. There's two of them right there. Two biographies. The Garner Files and Elizabeth Warren's A Fighting Chance. She has gone through some stuff. Look at that. How does that look? But yeah, right now I'm reading an Ian Banks that did not. Oh shoot! Look what I'm. Look. Uh-oh. No wonder I've only got 9 people in here. Oh, he forgot the hashtag, so he's not going to go. He's not going to get caught. Yes, if you didn't see that this morning, go to that website. Catch me. Put catch in your hashtags on your titles, and it automatically saves your scopes with the chat being scrollable. And I really want to thank these two for getting me a little bit out of my comfort zone. It does save comments. It saves comments, and they're scrollable on the side of the friggin' page. It's great. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to have one there because I put that hashtag catch in my scope. It is recording this scope, and it's fast forwardable. It has a progress bar on the bottom, and you can, and the chat is on the side and scrollable. You can go back in and just watch all of your chat. So if you miss, like I've missed, heaven knows how many questions I've missed today. I'm not great at that. I'm sorry. But you put that catch in there, it records it. It records all of the chat on the side, and it's just great. All right, guys, I have done my challenge. I have scoped my books for you. It's your turn. Get out there and show me how you think and why. Who announced it? God. Go to Bushnell's last one. He tells us who created it and who passed it out. And he said, and I just don't remember. I was so excited with watching him use it. Go ahead and watch his announcement of that. It is great. Okay, Greg. All right, guys. It's time for me to get back to reading. Oh, and by the way, guys, just to let you know, NSA surveillance is not new. What you see there are my unit crests from when I was in the Army Security Agency in 1973. And our motto was, "In God we trust, all others we monitor." And we do. Periscope.